Okay, guys. From an injury standpoint from yesterday, unfortunately for Kyren Williams, he got a high ankle sprain and he's got to get surgery today, so he'll be out for 6 to 8 weeks. It was on that first kick return, which is a shame for him. Brian Allen is also going to have a procedure this afternoon to remove some loose bodies in his knee, so he could be out from anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. Joe Noteboom strained his MCL a little bit. He'll be kind of day to day. And then Matt Orzech has a calf strain where he'll kind of be day to day as well. But other than that, we got your typical bumps and bruises, but tough for those two guys that have to get surgery today for sure.
Gilbert.
Yeah, Sean, just going off of that, if Joe's not ready, what's the plan left tackle?
AJ Jackson would be ready to step in, but we are confident with the 10 days that we have that Joe will be ready to go against the Falcons.
And Sean, have you spoken to Matthew about how the elbow felt yesterday and today?
Yeah, I spoke to him. It felt okay. There was a lot of things that didn't go our way yesterday for a lot of different reasons. Like I mentioned to you guys after the game, but he came out of that thing feeling good. He took obviously some shots, but the elbow felt okay.
He was mentioning that he saw some, a variety of coverages, cover 2, cover 3. And I think Cooper mentioned maybe Tampa 2. What were you seeing out there with these kind of different looks from the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, it wasn't really a lot of different looks. I mean, they were it was about as regulated of coverages. I mean, they did a great job executing. They didn't rush more than 4 guys the whole night. One time, like I had said to you guys yesterday, they did a good job of being able to get pressure with a 4-man rush. And then they mixed up, some vision zone defense. They only played a couple snaps of man the whole night. And that wasn't something that totally caught us off guard. We just didn't execute quite as well. And to their credit, they did.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Jordan.
Just quick check-in on the other guys. I know you said Brian Allen would be out for a little time. Would that mean that Coleman would move over, and then what would be the plan at guard at that point?
Jermaine Ankrum would step in.
Okay. And then with Orzech, are you expecting he'll be okay, or
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, we're expecting that he's going to be okay, but there's some things that we're looking into just as far as contingency plannings and things like that, Jordan. But I do think that Matt's going to be okay.
Just to check back in after, obviously you guys have dissected the tape and everything, and if we can maybe remove in a vacuum some of the stuff with the offensive line and the pressure with Allen Robinson. Matthew mentioned that he saw that they clouded the boundary a lot for him, and there was some zone and things like that. Is there and they put a cap on him and all of those things that I think probably you would do, but was there something that you saw in terms of maybe adjustments that could happen, or moving him around a bit, or things like that you guys thought about sort of day after as you're reassessing?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw it during the game. It was really just a matter of, there was the thing that was they did a great job of executing. We got to try to get Allen more involved, but there were some opportunities for him to come to life that for a lot of different reasons, it didn't end up occurring. But, those are things that we'll look into week in and week out. I mean, ultimately, we've just got to execute overall better. Like I said yesterday, I can put us in some better situations without a doubt. And those are the things that we'll always look at.
And then just one more question for you, Sean. And I mean this earnestly, I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but how did Matthew's throwing arm, his actual form, look to you yesterday? It
looked good. I mean, there was a couple things that, whether it was the rush kind of got in his face where he wasn't able to see certain things. And, Matthew's got such high standards as we do for him, and he does of himself, that there were some plays that I'm sure he'll want back, but I think that's how it'll be for any quarterback when you're, at the level that he is, or a Josh Allen. And so, there's things that I expect us to be able to play better collectively, starting with me and then overall execution wise. But I thought as far as just the overall motion, I didn't necessarily think that was affected. I thought maybe just some of the spots where he's getting moved or getting hit, not being able to finish his motion as a result of just some of the pressure or different things that are pushing him off his spot might have affected, some of the overall accuracy, snap in and snap out. But as far as just, the mechanics from an elbow perspective, I didn't sense that was any sort of issue.
Okay, thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Kurt,
Hey, Sean, when we came out of training camp and you were going back up to Thousand Oaks, you said there needs to be a greater sense of urgency. Did that play a factor, hindsight being 2020, with what happened last night?
You know, I think that's an easy excuse for us to be able to make, Kurt, but I wouldn't say that. I mean, our guys were ready to go. I just think there was a lot of instances where we didn't execute to our full capacity and capability. And there was a lot of different instances, and it wasn't one person. There was a lot of different things that had occurred. There were some decisions that I know that I could have made or we could have made as coaches that certainly would have helped the cause. And we're all in this together. But I think that would be an easy thing to say, but I think you do need to give credit to the Bills. They were ready to go. It's a 10-10 game at halftime. I thought the first possession coming out, was a killer momentum wise to start where we did and then to not get anything offensively going. And, there was a lot of different plays that, could have changed the outcome of the game, but I thought they controlled the second half. They made their plays. And then, really as a result of, I think, guys wanting to do right, we pressed a little bit on both sides, and that led to some big plays from them, whether it was turnovers offensively or whether it was big explosives defensively that weren't for anything but the right intentions. But that's where we've just got to play each snap as its own entity, and I trust that we'll be able to learn from it. But I didn't sense that was a factor and why we didn't play as well as we're capable of last night. And again, you give Bills credit; they're a very good football team.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome.
Greg.
Sean, just building on what you said, the sacks and the pressure that Buffalo got in this game, how much of that is Buffalo being an elite team with an elite defense and an elite defensive line, and how much is the offensive line needing to play better?
I think there's a little bit of both. I think there's some instances where whether it's the timing and rhythm, we get the ball out, or whether it's, the rush is hitting home too quick. There were some uncharacteristic sets, but you do give credit, Vaughn and some of their Jordan Phillips did a great job with some of the interior rushes. And so they made their plays, but I think it goes both ways. When I'm looking at it through the lens of the confidence and the expectations I have for our guys, I expect us to be better, but you certainly don't want to take away from the credit that those guys earned and the production that they earned last night, with what they did, being able to rush with 4-man rushes all night.
You took a loss into the bye week last year, and we've talked over the years about whether it's good or bad to be able to respond immediately or whether to have more time to prepare. How do you feel about this one particular after just one game?
It's all about the response. I think there's a lot of football left. There's a lot of situations and circumstances that you can look to of people handling similar instances the right way. And that response was key and critical for this to be a little blip on the radar. And so what we can't allow this to do is to affect our ability to be able to move forward. Greg, our guys they came in today, got treatment, watched the film, want them to flush it out of their system. We don't want to be naive to the fact that we can't have the same mistakes occur. But we also can't allow this game to affect our preparation and planning as it relates to the Falcons next week. So I think this is the hand that we're dealt. We got to handle it the right way. And I do trust that with the players and the coaches will respond and go compete to the best of our ability next week against the Falcons. And that's all I know how to do.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Stu.
Sean, looking at the running back position, given Kyren's timeline, are you comfortable with the options you've already got on the roster, or would that cause you to potentially explore adding another running back by other means?
I think we'll continue to look at all avenues, Stu. I thought there was some bright spots for Darryl last night. It's a bummer because we were trying to get Kyren involved and, he didn't even get a chance to be able to do that. And so those are things that we'll continue to look into for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gary.
Hey, Sean, in terms of getting guys involved, with Cam Akers and Allen Robinson, what do you feel like you guys need to do to maybe get them going in game 2?
Yeah, just got to get more opportunities for Allen. And then, Cam's got to maximize his when he gets in there.
Did he not? We can look at the stats and whatnot and see, the yardage total and the number of carries, but does he need to do things better when he's getting those opportunities, even if they're minimal?
Yeah, I think that's what we expect from all of our guys. And so, whether it's, and no matter who you're talking about, you want to see guys do the little things the right way, compete with and without the ball. There were some instances where there were some positive things and some things that he can do better, but do want to see just an increased level of urgency and accountability, snap in and snap out from him.
And then finally, from me, when you meet your team after a game like that, initially in the locker room, are you angry? Are you positive? I mean, what's kind of your mode of operation last night?
I would say solution oriented. I think you address the things that need to be addressed, but I'm naturally a positive guy, but I think you want to have the right amount of urgency and solution oriented mindset of what is conducive for moving on. That game is over with. How do we move forward and expend our emotional energy the right way? And that's where my focus and concentration is always geared towards is not just saying something, but having solutions, having a solution oriented approach to, hey, here's how we play better. Here's how we fix it. And here's how we have the resolve and the mental toughness that's needed and necessary to be able to respond to some of these adverse moments that inevitably occur throughout the course of a season. So that's what the emotion is. Do I care a whole hell of a lot? Do I want to see us do better? Do I want to do better for our guys? No doubt about it. And does that, did last night, did that bother me? Of course, that you wake up with a pit in your stomach. And the only way I know how to get rid of that thing is to try to go back to work and work hard for these players and coaches within my role. And so that's kind of the emotions that you have after that kind of game.
All right, we'll wrap it up
Thank
with you,
you.
Jordan.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sean, thanks for taking a follow-up here. I just wanted to get a little more clarity if at all possible. You mentioned last night with Cam, you guys didn't quite ever get into a rhythm, and, maybe that was why we didn't see him until the second quarter. But today, some of the stuff about urgency, and are you referring to, because he wasn't really on the field much, right? So are you referring to things maybe at practice or behind the scenes that we don't
I just want to see, what I know what Cam is capable of. We've all seen how talented and what a special player this guy's capable of being. And I want to see him reach his highest potential. And that's really all there is to it. It's not about anything other than when he and Darryl are playing at a high level. I feel really good about those two guys at running back for us. And the opportunities were minimal. There were some things that within each of those individual plays that I think that we can be better collectively, starting with me, then to the players around him, but also with Cam. And so it's more of a reflection of the confidence, and I know what he can be, Jordan. And I'm confident that he'll be that guy that we've all seen at the right moments as this season continues to progress. And that's our job, to help get it out of him.
Thank you for the clarity.
You're welcome.
Coach, we appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.